as we're heading off to China's Ice City, better known as Harbin. We're going to be skating our way around the St. Petersburg of the Orient as we take in the St. Sophia Cathedral. It's going to be action-packed as we witness surely one of the maddest, yet healthiest customs in the whole world. But above all, we're going to be highlighting Harbin's spectacular ice festival, which takes place every year. To turn up the heating, you're going to need it.
Hi, I'm Mark Edwards and welcome to Travelogue. I've donned my ridiculous beanie and enough layers of thermals to make the Michelin man look like he's on a diet, and I've headed up to the northeasternmost major city in China. That's Harbin. Here the weather averages out at about minus 14 degrees, which feels about right for today. So grab yourself a nice hot cup of tea and enjoy the trip around the ice city.
I may seem somewhat red-faced and unhappy, but don't be fooled by first impressions. That's right, it's time to dust off those thermals, don those woolly hats, and slip on your coloured moon boots. Because you're heading to Harbin, where it's freezing, but fun. Harbin is a city that embraces its weather. Blessed or cursed, depending on your feelings, with one of the coldest climates in Asia, the city promotes its winter as its peak tourist season, with considerable success, as you'll see. It's also worth visiting in the summer, but you'll find Harbin filled with more visitors braving the minus 20 degrees Celsius weather and howling Siberian gales. Chinese New Year is the biggest and most important holiday on China's festive calendar. A time to be with your family eating good food and letting off countless fireworks.
So I'm lucky that I'm here during, as we're approaching Chinese New Year, and the entire city is beautiful. There's people putting their ears about because I think there's some fireworks going to be going off. There we go, just go behind. And it's at this point of the year where you will find lots and lots of fireworks stands like the one we've got here, where you can buy all sorts of fireworks that can pack serious amounts of horsepower. There's also, the whole city is lit up with ice lanterns, so it's a cocktail of fireworks and lanterns. Enjoy.
Chinese New Year, or Spring Festival as it's commonly known, takes on a slightly different look in Harbin. Certainly when you compare it to other places in China. You'll still find the red lanterns, which are synonymous with any Chinese time of celebration. However, you will also be greeted by the sight of endless ice lanterns scattered all over the city. Everywhere you go, you'll be confronted by these wonderful ice designs that give the whole city an almost fairy tale-like quality. Called the St. Petersburg of the Orient, Harbin is one of China's most beautiful cities. It's well known for its unique Russian and European-influenced architecture, which helps give Harbin its distinctive character. You'll find architectural gems dotted all over the city, from Russian Orthodox churches to Buddhist temples. The Russian influence is perhaps the most visible thanks to Heilongjiang province's proximity to Russia. It's certainly an odd sensation to be walking around a Chinese city that has such an incredible Sino-European mix and atmosphere.
Now, Harbin is an extremely special city. You'll find different types of European architecture here, and predominantly Russian, like you can see behind me. This is the must-see site, or one of the must-see sites in Harbin. It's the Cathedral of St. Sophia. Built in 1907, I'm going to take a lot of photographs. Let's go and have a look.
I'm not the only one who thinks that going camera crazy here is a good idea. St. Sophia's Cathedral is one of Harbin's most photographed landmarks. It really is one of the most beautiful and interesting sights in the city. Set in its own square, it dominates this part of Harbin with its glorious dome. An idyllic setting for a wedding, perhaps. It would definitely be too cold for me. I might not be that keen on minus 20 degrees Celsius weddings, but feeding pigeons is always a bit of a laugh, wherever you are. In fact, if it wasn't for the imminent threat of frostbite, I could almost imagine I was in St. Mark's Square in Venice. Pigeons everywhere. Once inside, you'll be treated to what remains of the interior religious artefacts, such as the beautiful frescoes above and around you in the centre of the room. The artefacts are still incredibly well preserved and clear for everyone to see. The Russian Orthodox Cathedral is also home to the HARBIN Architecture and Art Centre. And in my case, it's a wonderful refuge from the chilly weather outside. Here you'll find an interesting photographic storyboard of Harbin's history. It's open from 8:30 in the morning and closes at 5 in the afternoon. Despite the majority of the captions being in Chinese, you can definitely get a feel of what the city used to look like from photographs dating all the way back to the 1900s. There are also additional photos available via touchscreen computers. This is not the only treat in store for you. Every day there are performances taking place in the cathedral, and I was lucky enough to enjoy a sumptuous concert by the professional Chinese choir that performs here once a week. It was an experience in itself to listen to this mixed choir singing wonderful hymns in Chinese. All of the performances begin at 2 p.m, and I would recommend coming here about then, as you'll also be treated to the best type of lighting with which to enjoy the interior. That said, I did also get a chance to see the cathedral in the evening, when the nightlight bathed St. Sophia's in a different yet still beautiful glow. Yeah, this was definitely one of the more relaxing afternoons I've had. I literally had to be dragged out of here, so reluctant was I to leave behind the warmth and also the magnificent songs. If you can drag yourself away, you can try seeing the Harbin Mosque or the Jila Temple as well. Right, time for some retail therapy. And in Harbin, there's no better place than on Zhongyang Dajie, the city's main shopping street, with a sublime mix of Chinese and Western shops. Built in 1898, the street is 1,450 metres long and embraces all sorts of different types of architecture. You've got Baroque, Renaissance and modern day. The cobblestones that form the street were designed and laid in 1924 by a Russian engineer, with every stone costing $1 silver. Thus, it became known as the Golden Street. Even back in the 1920s, the street was famous as a global shopper's heaven. Perfume from France, linen from India, furs from Russia and wool from the UK gave this street its fame. In some ways, Harbin is as much a cultural mecca as it is a recreational centre. But it's certainly a good place to go shopping and explore the streets. There are also numerous fine restaurants and bars along Zhongyang Dajie, with a high percentage of them being Western or Russian. This is also a good area to pick up some Russian goods and souvenirs, as there are many shops that specialise in this. Right, well, as they say, it's all about location when you're looking to invest in property. And the French entrepreneurs who built the famous modern hotel got that bit right. So I've just strolled in from the Zhongyang street behind me, one of the more busiest streets in Harbin, which interestingly has a lot of European architecture. And I've come here to the oldest hotel in the whole of Harbin. It was built in 1906, I've been told, and is a wonderful mix of modernity, like its name suggests. It's called the Modern Hotel, and tradition. So we've got antiquated artifacts here, you know, what the hotel used to have in 1920s, 1913 here, and also just a very relaxing modern hotel. Situated right off Zhongyangdajie, the name is a slight misnomer, as the modern hotel was built in 1906 and remains Harbin's oldest hotel. It's an elegant building with an ice sculpture of a lion greeting you on your arrival. The hotel is bursting with character and has marble and carved woodwork decorating its public areas. The rooms are modern while still retaining an almost Baroque style. It's one of the many hotels that can be found in the city centre. If you're more into 5-star chains, then there's an impressive Shangri-La Hotel which overlooks the Jiaolin and Stalin parks, making it the perfect place to stay during Harbin's famous Ice Lantern Festival. Anyway, I was starting to get a little peckish, and I'd already been informed of another thing the hotel was famous for, and that's food. I'm not just talking about the hotel restaurant, but its food court built on the side of the establishment. So I headed off to see what I could offer my growling stomach. So, having just stepped around from the modern hotel, I've been told that the food that they serve here is also very famous, and we're here in their sort of annex of the food area. And as you can see, a lot of people here, they're famous for all the little eateries over there, so hot food, but especially for cakes, yogurt, ice cream, and I've been told ice lollipops. Let's go give those a go, they're over there. Yeah. 多少钱一个？2块。哦，我说来一个这个吧。对对对。2块钱一个。对。涨价了。对。加料的意思啊。来2个。So, this is how it's done in Harbin. I mean, so even local Harbin people like grabbing some ice cream and just chilling out, quite literally, at minus 18 degrees, which is where we are right now. My hands are freezing, but the ice cream's great. Being a bit of a people watcher, I was intrigued to see a queue building up not far from where I was. I needed some answers. Harbin is very famous for its red sausage, which is sold across the country. People won't be deterred by large queues in a bid to secure themselves some of this particular Harbin speciality. As you'll find in any other of the major Chinese cities, Harbin offers a good balance of Western and Chinese food. Whatever your tastes, they should be catered for here, with a greater selection of Russian restaurants. Logically though, you can find more northeastern specialities in terms of Chinese food. Give the dumplings here a go. They're perfect for warming up those frozen bellies. The city at night is a treat in itself. Thanks to the ice lanterns and ice sculptures, as well as the frosty weather, walking around after dark feels totally surreal, as though you're in some winter wonderland rather than a large city. I think this is certainly something that adds to Harbin's uniqueness. On a slightly different note, I couldn't help but feel a tiny bit emasculated by all the local Harbin people. I mean, there I was with my thermal underwear and enough layers to open my own clothes store, and I spot a local Harbin girl wearing a jumper and a thin jacket, and no hat. They're still having so much fun. Having persuaded myself that my masculinity wasn't being brought into question, and I actually looked good with 12 layers on, I then heard a rumour about some people who were going to make me feel even worse. Could it be true? Swimming in the river with nothing but a bikini or Speedo on at this time of the year? So I headed straight for the eye of the storm, the Songhua River. Also known as the Sungari River in English, it is the largest tributary of Heilongjiang Province's eponymous Heilong River. In winter, it's simply an enormous ice rink filled with fun activities to do. Caught up in the sort of peaceful environment that only this type of weather can create, it's not difficult to get involved. People of all ages were messing about on the ice. It's a magnificent haven of calm where you can ride sleighs pulled by dogs, go ice skating, or just live a little vicariously, trying not to end up in a heap every 2 minutes.
Clearly I've put on the wrong hat today. There seems to be a group of people having fun. Let's go and see what they're doing. What do you do in Harbin on your day out? Hello. 你们干嘛？
玩儿。
为什么？
抽冰嘎。
冰嘎？下午？
好，给你玩。
为什么你们有一样的帽子吗？
因为我们是冬令营的营员，给你带来是一个团。
带一个。我试一试吧。
来，白熊。
I can now. 啊，谢谢。
这个手跟今天。
就是叫我，真的我。I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I've got the hat. I think I've got the right gear. So let's have a look. Hey, have a look at this guy. Have a look at this guy. Woo! So at least I think it manages to keep you quite active. This is good. I mean, it's not too cold. This hat's great. Woo! So we're just heading in to go and see the wonderful people who go swimming in minus 14 degrees. I can't really say I'm jealous, but let's see whether they change my mind.
I'm not going to lie, I was absolutely blown away by this part of the trip. I was dreading the fate of these swimmers, but then I wrongly thought they were swimming in a heated pool. But no, this was water direct from the Songhua River. The fact that I could barely feel my hands or toes just helped increase my amazement at this incredible feat. When I made some inquiries as to the dangers of this type of activity, the unanimous response was 很健康, which means it's very healthy.
He's not cold. I am. I'm freezing just watching them. Wow, 82 years old. She doesn't even seem cold. 你游了多少年？
我59岁有的。
That's right, 82 years of age. So fit and healthy. I think it's time to start taking cold showers in the morning when I head back to Beijing.
So I finally arrived at the Harbin Ice and Snow World. There are 3 such ice festivals that go on here in Harbin, but it's the most important event in the city. They run every year for around 6 weeks in the winter. You just can't miss it. Come here for this. I'm going to go and get overly excited, I'm sure. Woo! Now, at the Ice and Snow World, you'll probably be surprised, or you might not be, but I was surprised to find that everything, absolutely everything, here is made from ice or snow. We're talking right down to the steps, the slides, everything that's on the outside. So if you come over here, we can see the ice. Look at this. This is local ice, as I like to call it. I've been told it's made from the water that comes from the Songhua River, which is local to here. Now, the other thing is, I've really got to suggest that you wear a lot of clothes, because it's about 4 or 5 degrees colder here, a few kilometres outside of the city, than it is within the city. A lot of wind. I've got like 12 layers on, but it's worth it. The park opens at 9 in the morning, but I suggest you arrive here around 3 o'clock and you can see the whole of the park during the day without the lights in all of its splendour, and I'm guessing it's about 4:30, and that's when the lights, as you can see, are being turned on behind, so you get the best of both worlds. Check it out.
Harbin's main winter attraction is without a doubt the spectacular Ice and Snow World. It attracts thousands of tourists from all over the world, as well as from all over China, and its fame is completely warranted. Somewhat compensating for the cruel winter weather, the park is transformed into a fairy tale landscape with magnificent sculptures made of ice. You can find entire buildings complete with slides, stairways, arches and bridges carved in incredible detail with chainsaws and picks. The festival can also be experienced in two very different ways. During the day, when the sheer size and intricacies of the carvings are exemplified, and also at night, when the sculptures are illuminated with coloured lights, turning the area into a temporary, psychedelic fantasy world. The festival lasts from January to mid-February, sometimes longer depending on the weather. There are figure skating shows, hockey tournaments and other winter events also taking place here. But as a normal tourist, you can also enjoy ripping around on the many slides which are custom built, or cycling on the ice bikes provided. Take a horse-drawn carriage around the festival to give you that regal feel. There are also plenty of souvenir stands and food available on site. In all honesty, if you can take being a little cold, well, that's probably the understatement of the year, if you're up for a quick boxing match with nature, then Harbin's Ice Festival is worth the trip alone.
My name's Mark, how you doing? What are you doing in Harbin?
I am participating in locomotive testing.
Locomotive testing! How long have you been in Harbin for?
1 day.
1 day, how have you found it so far?
Excellent.
Really?
The ice show is very good.
However, never fear if, like me, you feel you can probably only take the weather in short bursts. There are also several small snack restaurants and coffee shops where you can stave off the onset of frostbite. But if you're looking for a little more than just a place to warm up your toes, head over to the main building on the left of the festival. Here you can be entertained by a Russian dancing and singing troupe whilst you revive yourself with that hot cup of coffee. Close your eyes, listen to the music. You can almost be in Moscow. The nighttime does also provide a chance to bust into a few well-practiced dance moves, as there is music accompanying you around the park. Don't forget to bring your camera, as the Ice Festival is one of the most photogenic occasions I have ever been to. You may have been to one of the many Disney amusement parks scattered all over the world. Florida, Hong Kong, Paris, or even had the chance to witness their extremely successful show Disney on Ice. Well, here in Harbin, you have something that adopts elements from both these attractions. It's Harbin's very own Disney Ice Festival. Since it's filled with all your favourite Disney characters, some would say it's more aimed at children, but there's definitely something for everyone. From Aladdin's hilarious genie to a platform dedicated to Disney's hottest beauties, dominated by Ariel of course, all of Disney's heroes have some part to play in making this park well worth a quick peek. One of the qualities of the Ice Festival is the sheer volume and diversity of the people who make the trip. It's an extremely popular attraction, despite the freezing cold. Some might say that it's almost because of the ridiculous temperatures that you can find so many groups and families in such high spirits. With its reputation growing every year, it's quickly becoming the place to visit in China during the winter months. And I'll definitely vouch for that.
Wow, what an amazing winter wonderland. It's quite literally breathtaking, if you just excuse that terrible pun. I feel like I've just strolled around a fantasy sort of fairy tale wonder of a park. But unfortunately, that's all the time we've got left for today. I hope you've enjoyed the last half an hour and our trip around Harbin. But don't worry, there's still one more episode to go where we'll explore the rest of the Ice City. Hope you're a lot warmer than I am right now. I'm going to go. I'm Mark Edwards, and I'll catch you very soon on another episode of Travelogue.